Live from our living room, it's from Long Distance to Marriage with Andrea and Rich. We're a once long-distance couple who closed 5,000 miles of distance and made it through to marriage.
We talk long distance, marriage, and relationships.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on whereabouts in the world you are. Today we're going to talk about... It should be a fun one, actually. We're going to talk about the things that amuse us about each other's home countries. If you've listened before, well, first of all, if you haven't listened before, I recommend you start with episode 1, which tells all about our story. Like I said, if you have listened before, you know that I grew up in California / Arizona in the United States, and Rich grew up just outside of London. So, I've spent more time here than you spent there.
Mm.
You were, how much time? You've probably only spent a few months together, as a whole chunk. You were out there for 6 months.
Yeah, I was out there for 6 months, and then...
With me.
I've been back, a few times for a couple of weeks at a time?
Yeah, so, less than a year altogether.
Oh,
you
yeah,
spent
less
out
than a
there.
year.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're even qualified to talk about this.
I am qualified.
You're qualified to have an opinion about the United States of America?
Yeah, everyone's got an opinion on the United States
I
of America.
know, but some people shouldn't. Okay, would you like to start with your list? Or item 1 on your list?
Item 1. So, I think the thing that gets me about America is we get so much American stuff here. So we watch a lot of American TV, a lot of American films. You speak the same language, so there's this sort of expectation that things aren't going to be too dissimilar.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have an idea of what it's going to be like. And then you get there, and the first thing that struck me was the size of that fucking road. So we just landed, and it was that night.
Where would we landed?
So we'd landed in Phoenix, in Arizona. We were staying in that little motel.
And this is the first time? Yes,
this is
the
the
very
first time I've been there.
Yeah.
We landed in that motel. Not landed in the motel. We went to the motel.
After landing.
After landing. And
on a plane at an airport.
We just wanted snacks, didn't we?
Yeah, basically the hotel was right across the street from a big supermarket.
Yeah, so we thought we'll go get some snacks, and we started crossing. This is the biggest road I've ever been on.
Yeah, and it was also completely quiet because it was
completely
11
quiet.
at night.
I was also tired. We've been traveling because
yeah.
that was when we did layovers,
mm-hmm.
or
connecting flights.
Yeah. So it was a long trip, and I just remember getting halfway across this road and thinking, "There's no way that light's going to stay green for us to cross it."
What made me laugh though is that you said, "Do you think we're going to make it? Like we're going to get struck down at 11 o'clock in a quiet..." I
thought there was a high risk we'd be running. Because over here...
But there was no cars on the road.
If you were crossing that street in London and you were in the middle of the road and it turned green for cars,
difference...
they would run you down.
The difference is there was no one on the street.
I could barely see the curb on the other side of the road on this thing.
It was ridiculous. It was like a 4-lane, just normal neighborhood road.
It was not built for pedestrians to cross.
Well, obviously it was, because we went through a crosswalk. But you were so dramatic about it. Are we going to make it? There was literally no cars around.
Yeah.
And you're like, go to...
It was a long... And then we had to cross it back again.
Yeah, and we had snacks that time to protect.
Yeah, and weigh us down. It was a stressful time. So that was the first thing.
So the size of our roads.
The size of your roads,
yeah. Well,
and maybe on the flip side, our roads are too small.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
But having grown up with that, I mean, it was a big road. It was too big.
Yeah, I mean, with one jaunty leap, you can cross a street in England.
Yeah, I mean, no one does. You don't see many jaunty leaps
on
your travels, but it is possible. So go on, what's yours?
My first one, is that in England, you have lots of letters and words, and you often don't pronounce them. So... You remember the first time I came to visit you and we went up to London?
I do.
And you were showing me all the sights. And throughout London, they have little touristy signposts, this way to that attraction, this way to this attraction. And there was a sign for a place that I didn't recognize. And I was like, hey, what's Leicester Square? Because this place, and how do you actually say it? Leicester, which any... sane person would spell Lester. You guys spell Leicester.
Yeah. But it's world famous.
It shouldn't be Leicester. I guess it should be Leicester. But you just don't bother. And also, that sauce that everyone knows, which you call...
What's the sauce?
Yeah. Say it again?
Just what's the sauce?
Stop laughing and say it so people can understand.
Worcester sauce. Although people say that differently. Some people do say Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
So this sauce, which is also known as Liam Perrins.
No. Liam Perrins is a brand.
People do call it Liam Perrins.
Yeah, but it's a brand.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's also known as Liam Perrins.
Because no one wants to say Worcester or Worcestershire sauce.
So, I mean, we have this in America. You'll recognize it because it's spelled Worcestershire.
Yeah.
So, an American probably say Worcestershire.
Well, we're just more efficient. We get there quicker.
You just
as long as you know,
half of it's not there.
As long as everyone knows what you're saying. If I say to someone in London, where's Leicester Square, they go, oh, okay, it's over there. They don't say, what are you talking about? It's just efficiency in action.
That's because if they're from London, they also say it wrong.
Exactly. So we've
Yeah, that doesn't work. Your argument is invalid. Or invalid. How do you say that here?
Well, you can't say invalid.
Oh, yeah,
You can say invalid, but invalid. It's not the same as invalid.
So there's just lots of words that lots of words that have a lot of letters that they just decide, no, we're going to put it there, but we're not going to use it. It's just ridiculous, and it makes me sound dumb. People always make fun of the way I say things.
Yeah, we do have letters.
You do have letters.
We do have letters.
Yeah, okay. What's next for you?
So I'm going to keep with the theme of that motel.
The motel?
That motel that we went to after we landed at the airport, and then we went on our trek to get these snacks. And then the next morning, when we put the TV on, and it was a show that we've got here that was on TV out there, but you call it USA.
What show was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, Wife Swap.
Oh, Wife Swap, okay.
I know Wife Swap. Let's watch Wife Swap
Yeah,
USA.
we like that show.
But your version of it, because our version's quite dull. Like it comes on, it's like, welcome to this week's Wife Swap, such and such. American is like Hollywood production values, and it's got this little caveat that says some of these sequences were just filmed for entertainment. So you just start watching it, I've got no idea what's real. It's much more sort of bombastic than our version of it. So your TV... Bombastic, yeah. So your TV...
Where did you learn that word?
I know words. We've got letters and we've got words.
We've got letters.
But I just remember thinking...
Isn't there some rap song, Mr. Bombastic?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't... Rap's not my genre.
I don't know if it's rap, but that's me now thinking that forever.
Anyway...
I'm going to look it up.
I just remember thinking how... over the top and then the news came on and it was the same thing. Our news is this is what's happened, someone got shot or stabbed. We don't get many shootings. Someone died. Your news, again, it's all glitzy, big font, shiny letters, dramatic production values.
No.
This is the news. And for anyone in America who's not seen how the news should be done, I don't think you realise how ridiculous American news. And equally, for anyone who's never seen American news, doesn't know how ridiculous it is. No one has any idea what I'm talking about. It's madness. That struck me.
Now, firstly, you're doing that British thing where you think that everything you do is the right way.
Uh-huh.
So maybe don't.
Well, we had an empire.
Yeah, and what happened to it?
Well, we gave it up. But
no, you lost it.
We proved our case.
Because you all got lazy and stuff. So you don't like our news because it's glitzy?
No, not because it's glitzy. Because it's clearly entertainment.
Not all of it, though. I think it depends what you're watching.
I'm sure there's some kernel of truth in the news. It's not an anti-news thing. It's just...
Oh, but there's clearly...
For what the show is.
What's Scofie? What show's he on?
Who? Scofie?
Philip Schofield.
This morning?
Love. Yeah, this morning. That's obviously for entertainment.
Yeah, but that's not news.
It's a news morning show.
I'm talking about you put... Well, no. That's like you've got Good Morning America.
And Today's Show.
That's not what I'm talking about. You watch the news, and it's just...
Oh, that famous show, The News.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Oh. Okay. Well, since you've had a comment on our roads in America, which are probably the easiest roads to drive on in the world.
I like driving on American roads.
And everything's so beautifully organized. There's a lane to go that way. There's a lane to go that way. There's a lane to go straight. Everybody knows what they're doing, and everyone knows what they're going.
American roads have my respect.
God, I miss them, because in England, that lane will suddenly become this lane.
Although, you didn't miss them because they're so wide, when you'd been here for a little while and went back, and the turning lane to stay left was so far away that you end up driving the wrong way down the road.
Yeah, well, you're taking my point.
Just saying, that wide road.
That's more because I just don't remember how I get confused when I immediately switch over, come back to one country, having to drive. But What gets me about England is the roads are so difficult to drive on. It's not enjoyable. But the main thing is you go into any, they call them car parks, but we call them parking lots. You go into one, there's only one way in and one way out. And it's usually the same way in as out. Which means if there's ever a bit of a traffic jam or someone's taking a while to back out of their space or someone's waiting for someone else's space, you sit there for an hour. How many times? You had to abandon your car with your friend in a parking lot because of that. Because it was like there's a big grocery store and like shopping center, like maybe a mile and a bit up the main road from us.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad.
That bad. But
we had a burst pipe, didn't we?
There was a burst pipe, yeah. But I've also been in that same parking lot at Christmas. It was like Christmas Eve, and I stopped on the way home from work to get a couple sandwiches for us. And just because it was Christmas Eve and it was ridiculous. I mean, to be fair, I know better than to go into a store on Christmas Eve, but normally it's in the store that's chaos. Once you get in your car in the parking lot and get out, you're on your way. But I sat there for like 20 minutes. I could not back out of my space.
That particular one's so bad, we won't even go there on a weekend.
No, not unless it's like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, that one is bad. I mean, they're not all that bad.
But it's pretty bad. There is one way in and one way out, and it just makes getting anywhere so difficult. And there's a new one behind it, where there's like McDonald's and a pound shop and some other bits.
Yeah, we get stupid people to design it.
And it's just ridiculous.
I think it's an equality thing. If we hire morons, so they've got jobs, but then morons have designed it and it doesn't work very well.
But I just think, just no one thinks, but I think the problem with it is England's so old and there's so much built up in the built up areas, like we're in a suburban area, that to actually make the roads able to cope with how many people have moved into the area, you'd have to like tear everything down and start from scratch. And you can't do that because it's already so populated. But just the one way in and one way out thing kills me. And there was another time we were at the mall or the shopping area in Maidstone and we parked in like the multi-story parking complex, and same thing. There was just a lot of people were leaving at once, and there was only one way in and one way out.
Well, no, the problem with that one was because we were on the third floor, so we had to come down. So the people to let you out are also stuck in their traffic. And what happened was, as you exit that particular multi-story, you come out and you hit traffic lights. So everyone has to stop at the red light, and then you have to turn left. Then you turn left into the queue of people going back into that car park. So
yeah, I get it. I was there.
I'm explaining for the people who weren't there.
Yeah, it's probably so confusing though.
But that wasn't just because one exit. It's where that exit went on to.
But I wouldn't say that that's unusual either. Like, that's not an unusual occurrence in this country. That one was
particularly stupid.
It's particularly bad, yeah. But that's not unusual. And, like, we've been a lot of other places, not just in this town, where we've had problems getting in and out of places because it's just badly designed.
Yeah, it's madness, yeah.
Okay, so that was mine. What's next for you?
I'm going to go with religion/billboards because we grew up here. We went to church. No, I mean we collectively as a nation. You know, I went to church as a child.
So right now you're speaking for the whole nation.
For the whole nation.
Okay.
In the sense, it's a fairly secular country.
Yes.
Okay, so we have religion. We have churches. I went to a Catholic primary school. I went to. You got with religion. There's no avoidance of it. You go to America. We know all about your televangelists. Obviously, there's another form next to the news of just bombastic entertainment. You can ignore that.
Oh, by the way, I looked it up.
Yeah.
It was Shaggy and it was Mr. Boombastic.
Mr. Boombastic. Okay. Anyway, so I remember being with you. We were driving down the road and there's a big billboard.
Like on the side of the highway or something?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it says, but it was something like, "Got Jesus."
Oh, yeah. God is watching you.
God is watching you. And then I just remember thinking, what the fuck is that? It was on the side of a big truck as well. And the other thing you guys do that's part of this is we're not allowed to, so our license plates, number plates on our cars, we're not allowed to do anything different with them.
You can personalise them though.
You can have personalised numbers, letters, but in terms of how they look, it's completely standardised. You can't have any decoration on it at all. So you went to America and you can have frames.
Yeah.
And people have whatever. And a lot of those were very religious as well. I remember one of them was something like, "I'm going to heaven, where are you going?" I just remember that really struck me that, because again, when we get all this American TV shows and the entertainment, the religion's not really a factor in it. So we don't get this impression of America as incredibly religious.
Yeah. I think that's true. And I
we see
have
more of it
to-
now with social media, and you can, now we actually talk to American people on social media. You think, okay, there's a lot of religion, but that was a big shock to someone coming from a place like England where religion's much more of a background thing.
It's very personal too, I think, here. People are quite quiet about their religion. But I have to admit, even I, growing up in that kind of, my family was, again, we didn't really go to church when I was little, but both my parents come from slightly different religious backgrounds, both Christian. So, we were taught about the Bible, we knew all the stories about Jesus and everything, but it wasn't until I was older that I started going to church with my dad's side of the family. But you grow up with it, whether or not you're particularly religious, so you don't think anything of the billboards or the license plate frames or bumper stickers and things like that. But after I moved away and lived here for, I think it was a year and a half, from when I moved here, the first move, well, there's only one move, when I moved here to when we went back the first time, there was a little over a year and a half difference. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, because being here, you kind of forget about it. I'm not an overly religious person, so I wasn't seeking anything out like that. So I just kind of
it's a much more personal thing here. You can be. There's no real judgment on being religious or not being, but it's a personal thing here.
Yeah.
Whereas I remember being out there, and some of it was just really bad taste. There's huge billboards about anti-abortion billboards sponsored by such a. And I just remember thinking there's a lot of personal attacking, and it's sort of it's not prejudice, but it's quite.
It's in your face. It's very
and there's no discretion. And I thought a lot of it was in bad taste, but it was certainly the fact that there was this messaging was very shocking to me.
Yeah.
This goes into one of my other points, so just about your license plates in general, and this isn't true of the whole country, is it? But in Arizona, you don't have to have.
Yeah. So in some states, you have to have the same license plate on the front and the back of the car. But like in Arizona, I don't know if it's still that way, but it was always when I lived there. That the back was the one you had to have your official license plate, and you could have almost like decorative ones or like just fun ones.
Yeah, so there's a lot of funny
They're
ones.
not registered, like they'd be like a plastic one.
So over here, you have to have them on the front and the back, and they have to be the same. They have to be white on the front, they're yellow on the back.
Oh yeah, I never even thought about that.
Black font.
Lettering.
Yeah, whatever. And like I said, there's no deviation from that. And then up there, and some of them were funny. I remember being at that restaurant one night, at the Outback Steakhouse that you used to work at, and I was outside, and this car pulled up, and the front license plate said, "Forget 911, I call .357."
Or was that the frame?
This was just the whole plate. There was
that's really long.
It was like over lines.
And sorry, what did it say?
Forget 911, we call 357, like the Magnum 357.
What?
It's a gun.
Okay.
Like they shoot intruders themselves.
Okay.
And these. It turns out to be this car full of like 90-year-old people with Zimmer frames and crutches. I don't know who they were going to be shooting. But
a Zimmer frame is a walker that old people use.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, just for American listeners.
I just remember thinking like it's just because the reason we have to have them on the front here is obviously if someone's coming up close behind you.
Yeah.
So I feel like not having them on the front is really like an invitation to just be a dick to if you're in the car.
Yeah, I don't know why because if someone's driving recklessly or dangerously behind you and you maybe someone in the back seat you can turn around and take a picture of the car. They wouldn't be able to get so I don't really know why, but a lot of like California is not like that. California, you have to.
Well, and this is where I get confused with when there's a federal law, when there's a state law. Why that feels like something that should just be a federal law.
Yeah, I don't know why. It doesn't really make sense to have it different.
Anyway, what's next on your list?
Okay. So for me, it's funny that we do speak the same language, the United States and England. It's obviously very, it's different.
Yeah, we do it better than you do.
Oh, can you stop being so British? It's exhausting. I need a nap anyway. But like the words that we have for things are so different, even though it's the same language. Or it'll be like a word that we also have, but it'll mean something else. Like
muffins. Is it muffins or biscuits?
Well, biscuits, yeah. So biscuits in America are like soft, savory, like biscuits and gravy, or you'd have like mashed potatoes.
To anyone who listens to England, it's a scone.
It's the closest thing like a savory scone.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, not a sweet scone. That's the sweetest thing. I mean, the closest thing I can think to compare it to, but it's not quite the same.
But it's close.
But it's more like a southern kind of dish, and you'd have it with.
Well, you can imagine my disappointment when someone said, "Oh, would you like a biscuit?" I thought, "Oh, I'd love a biscuit."
See, I'd feel the other way around. Like if someone said, "Would you like a biscuit?" and they bring out the shortbread, that's nice. But if someone said, "Would you like a biscuit?" and they bring out like a big fluffy buttermilk biscuit, I'm like, "Fuck
no.
yeah, all over that."
No, I want the custard creams.
Yeah, I like custard creams too. But I also like biscuits. But like, so Kentucky Fried Chicken, so that we have KFC in England, and it is the most disappointing thing the first time you go there as an American. I don't think I've ever even been back since
I've
the first time.
never eaten a KFC.
Well, so the one time we went, I think we were coming back from Wales with your family. We've been to see some of your family in Wales, and we stopped at a service station. And in England, this is actually pretty cool. I don't think we have this, at least not where I grew up in America. It wasn't a thing we have. They have like it's kind of like a rest stop like we have in America. Rest stops, they just have like a, place you could pull over, stretch your legs. It'd be like, running normal bathrooms or toilets, places you can walk your dog, maybe some picnic tables. But in England, they have like the gas stations there, petrol station. They've got a few like coffee shops and fast food places. There's usually like a Subway, McDonald's, a few other things. So you can stop, get something to eat, put petrol in your car, stretch your legs, all in one place. So it's just right off the freeway or motorway. So that's pretty cool.
You can also wash your hands in a lot of things, which a lot of the ones we've stopped at in America, there was never any way to wash your hands. Just disgusting.
I think because the service stations here have employees and stuff because they have like restaurants and things, where the ones in America, there's not someone there all the time.
Yeah, the ones in America are one step above a hole in the ground.
No, not all of them.
The ones I've been into.
Maybe it's because I just took you there to punish you.
Maybe.
Wouldn't take you to the nice ones.
Maybe.
You were mouthing off in the car. You do mouth off. He's so cute and he's so smart, but my God, is he a gobby son of a gun?
Well, when you know how to do things properly and you see it being
mouth off?
done. No, the reason for the mouth off is you see things being done improperly, and you think,
just like to mouth off.
The injustice of this.
What am I even talking about?
Words.
Oh, so KFC. So yeah, basically I got off on a little tangent. So we were at a service station and we were looking for something to eat, and you wanted Subway, but I wanted like something hot. So I was like, oh, they have KFC. So I went to look.
Subway toasts their bread.
Yeah, but I don't always feel like just like a toasted sandwich. I don't know. And I was like, yeah, and I looked at the menu, and it's basically just fried chicken and fries. Like, they don't have the biscuits. They don't have the mashed potatoes.
That's because if you went to KFC and said, can I have some biscuits, they would think you're talking about custard cream.
I know, but it's an American company, so they need to understand. And then, so biscuits.
And we don't call it Kentucky Fried Chicken. We know it's called that, but the sign is never...
It's just KFC.
Just KFC.
Anyway. So like biscuits to English people are cookies to American people, but then cookies do exist here. They're different from biscuits.
But see, cookies here is a type of biscuit. So when you're in America and they say, do you want a cookie? That's all biscuits.
That's true. It's like a shortbread.
So that was another disappointment. I was thinking, I'd love a cookie, like chocolate chip cookie.
So a cookie is like a soft baked, like
have to be soft.
Chocolate chip cookie.
If it's got chocolate chips in it, sometimes they trick you. They put raisins in it.
Can you define the difference between what constitutes a cookie?
A cookie.
What a cookie makes.
What a cookie makes. Makes me happy. I don't know, but you know when you see a cookie.
Oh, but how? How am I
It's normally got chocolate chip in it.
They're bigger too, normally.
No, the little Maryland ones are quite small.
You said it right.
What, Maryland? Not Maryland?
Maryland.
Anyway, they're quite small.
Okay.
A cookie's a type of biscuit. That's all that matters.
I still can't get over this. So
when someone in America says, would you like a cookie? You think, I would love a cookie. Nice chocolate chip cookie.
A cookie has a chocolate chip in it, is what you're saying.
No. It can have chocolate chip in it. It doesn't have to. Sometimes they've got fudge in it. We had Millie's cookies the other day. No, we didn't. We went to Millie's cookies for ice cream. But, you don't have to have chocolate chip in it. But that's just one example of a typical cookie has chocolate chip in it.
But But
if you said, can I have a custard cream? That's a clear biscuit, not a cookie.
What?
I don't know. We'll have to look into this. We know what it is.
Okay.
We know what it is.
Anyways, and also crisps and fries and chips. So a crisp here is like a potato chip in America.
Yes.
And a chip here is a French fry in America.
I still think we're correct on this. Because, as I've always said, a French fry a chip to us is not always fried. You can have baked chips.
It's true.
We do have French fries.
So French fries are like long and skinny.
Yeah, like a McDonald's chip that's a French fry.
And chips here are more like thick cut fries. Like
I'm not a big fan of chips. I like fries. We have fries, and we have chips, and we have crisps.
Oh, okay. So yeah, basically nothing means the same thing here as it does back home. And I'm still trying to adjust to that. And then I kind of hate myself too when I say chips instead of fries or crisps instead of chips. But I just know that there'd be a real communication breakdown in our house if I stuck to my guns.
Well, when in Rome.
Yeah, I know. Rome didn't last for very long either.
Anyway, so next on my list is your TV censorship. This is a late comer to my list, but I remembered that what I found odd was for the country that proudly proclaims itself to be the land of the free, there's no swearing on American TV, there's no nudity allowed on TV.
There is, on cable
On
channels.
cable. We don't have cable. Well, we have cable, but... So, here, you have children-friendly TV all day, 9 o'clock p.m., what we call the watershed.
Why do you call it the watershed?
I don't know. When I was a child, I thought this was a TV show. Because I'd always hear people saying, oh, that was on before the watershed, how did they get rid of it? I'm thinking, where's the watershed? I hope the watershed's still on TV when I'm old enough to watch the watershed, because it sounds amazing.
Because there's lots of swearing and stuff.
It was where all the sex was, all the swearing, and
funny.
this was proper grown up to. And then I was quite disappointed to find out it's not a show, it's just a cut-off point. So, 9 o'clock in the evening, because I remember this quite vividly, when it was 9 o'clock, you either weren't allowed to watch TV, you went to bed, or my parents would monitor what was on. Mm-hmm. Because that was when inappropriate. And then when we finally did get cable...
That was when what, sorry?
Adult shows were on.
Okay.
But I don't mean like porn, but I just mean it was, you didn't know what was going to be on. But with cable, the watershed was 8 o'clock. So we'd be watching, it's 8 o'clock, we'll put the TV on, and then someone says something, and my parents were like, what did they just say? Because it was an hour earlier, so they weren't used to monitoring. But then, so, that's what we got with, that's what we were used to. And we were allowed to see things on TV like a woman's breasts. We're allowed to hear swearing.
Like nipples too?
Yeah, full nudity. Like we're not
before the watershed.
No, after the watershed, you're allowed to see everything. We're not allowed to show erections. I think that's about it. And you can't see sex, but you can see full frontal nudity and whatever. They can swear. I don't think they're allowed to say the C-bomb, but you're allowed to say
the F-bomb.
The F-bomb and other words. So it was fairly liberal. And then I go to America, the land of the free, thinking nothing's going to be off limits. And what was it, like 11 o'clock at night? And there was what was supposed to be a naked woman. And it was all pixelated and blurred out because, God forbid anyone see this. There's no swearing on. But then during the middle of the day, they put Goodfellas on TV. Obviously heavily censored. But I just remember thinking how bizarre it was that extreme violence was fine. All day. Children could watch that all day.
Did they show all the really violent parts?
Well, there was nothing left if they didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't know how they cut the swearing out, to be honest, but that really struck me as just incredibly different. Because here, you wouldn't have anything on like that at all during the day, and then it would be on in a fairly uncensored format in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah, that is weird. Don't know why.
Yeah, it's strange. Because people do swear in America. People get naked in America.
I think there'll be a little bit of swearing, but nothing, like, you'd probably have, like, maybe down or shit, but that's the most.
Yeah. And I don't know what the reason is. I know that all comes back to that religious purity from all the billboards.
No, I think it's probably just to do with the networks, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a weird one for me.
Okay, that's fair enough. Another thing that I find really funny about England is that it's a very small country. I think it could fit like 3 times, don't quote me on this, 3 times in Texas or something. But in that small amount of space, you've got so many different accents, and they can vary greatly, like from town to town, like just a few miles away from one another.
Yeah.
And it's mental. Like, I just don't get how like people speaking the same language relatively close to one another can have such a different accent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I first moved here, I worked in a pub, like after I got my work visa, and it was in a little village, and there was another little village down the road called Maryworth, and I used to get a lot of comments about my accent. A lot of people thought I was Irish. Like, they wouldn't even ask if I was Irish. They'd come in and say, oh, what part of Ireland are you from? And I'd be like, no. One guy said, are you from the West Country? And I was like, yeah, really, really, really far west, which is quite silly. But the West Country here is like Devon, Somerset, like over
To the west.
the southwest of the country.
That's because regular west is Wales.
I guess that's true. But yeah, this one guy came in, and he kind of listened to me talk. You know, I was taking orders or whatever, and he goes, "You sound like you're from Maryworth." And I thought, it's like half a mile away, and how do they sound any different than anyone else around here?
Yeah.
But, you know, you have some really different accents, and even, like, I think traditionally, the accents that people associate with England, people who aren't from England, are probably, like, southern England accents.
Yeah.
And, so I don't think that, I mean, that does vary quite a lot, but the northern accents are what get me. Like,
Well, this is what amazed me when Americans just are like, "Oh, you can do a British accent." You think there is no British accent?
there's a lot of them. And
Like,
some of them are really,
one.
some of them are really ugly.
Yeah, no one in America has had a Scouser accent.
Well, they have, because of the Beatles.
You ever heard the Beatles talk?
Yeah, like in interviews and stuff. Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump?
Yeah, there was an interview with Forrest Gump and John Lennon.
Oh, I was going to say, Forrest Gump wasn't from Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He talked to a Scouser.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so some Americans have heard a bit of Scouser.
Yeah, but it's like Liverpool and Manchester aren't actually that far apart, and they have a very, very different accent.
They also hate each other.
Do they?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't know.
Everyone hates everyone in England.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
You actually hate everyone.
Yeah.
That's another sad thing.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks America's, like, in crisis because people aren't getting on, but it's always been like that here.
Yeah, but it's fairly jovial here.
No, you just hate each other. Not very nice to each other.
No, but we're also not nice to anyone.
No, you're not very pleasant people, actually.
No, we're not.
Like, when my brother came to visit, he's a runner, so he
Yeah, but this is a southern thing.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah.
Like, northern people.
Northern people say hello to each other.
Yeah, my brother went for a run, and my brother's a typical, friendly American guy, and he went for a run around this like country park area where people walk their dogs and run and go for walks. And he said like hardly any, every time he went past someone, he'd be like, "Good morning," and he's not like he'd try to stop and shake their hand and tell them his life story. Just "Good morning."
But we view that with some trepidation. We're like, "What do you want?"
Just say "Good morning."
Yeah.
Because we're nice.
No.
So yeah, the accents throw me, and like I can't always tell them. Well, I can't often tell them apart because I don't know them all, and I'm not from here. Anyways, what's next on your list?
So it's the last one on my list, which is your warning signs. So obviously we have warning signs. We have, well, I don't know. I think that most of our warning signs that I can think of, like no smoking on business windows and things. I'm sure we have others.
Well, I don't know. The warning signs on your cigarette packets, for one, are pretty.
Oh yeah, but I don't mean like warnings like that. I mean just like on shops and businesses. Because the ones that struck me was going to a bar. I think it was a bar or restaurant. There's a sign in the window that said "No firearms." Now, I've never seen that sign before because we don't really have firearms.
Yeah.
And it was just a thought, like, Jesus, you have to be told not to take your gun to the pub.
Yeah.
Like, it was really quite shocking. And then some of them didn't have the sign and did allow it. And I was thinking, so people aren't allowed to smoke at this bar because it's the health risk.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just have a fucking gun and be drinking.
That depends on state by state.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't be in any fucking state. I just couldn't believe it. So that was weird. And then also when we'd go to restaurants and it's like, "Oh, would you like your steak done rare? By the way, we'll give you cancer if you do." And then you go and fill your car up with petrol and it's like, these fumes are going to give you cancer, but there's no gas mask to stop you. So, just fucked. Wherever you go, something's going to kill you.
I've never noticed. First of all, I think you took the restaurant one out of context. It said some food products cooked a certain way can
But it's also,
be linked to cancer.
Yeah, but then they got like the really nasty, like carcinogen ones. I'm pretty sure that's on the coffee now. You have it on...
Coffee's good for you.
Yeah, but what was it? We went to have like breakfast. It's like, oh, the eggs can do this, and this meat, like meat's linked to this cancer. You just really put you off your meal.
Yeah. I don't know why they do that.
So basically, you fill your car up and you're getting cancer from that, and then you go drive to the place you're going to eat and you're going to get cancer from that, and then if you're lucky, you won't get shot by someone at the bar because there wasn't a sign in the window that said no firearms.
You're so charming.
Yeah. I've had a cup of coffee. It's got me going.
You're
I'm hoping I don't get cancer from it.
You're hoping you do?
I'm hoping I don't get cancer.
Oh. Anything else you'd like to add to that, sunshine?
No, I think that's it.
All right. The last one for me is, I think most Americans think that England is all very charming, like to look at, for one. Everything's either lovely big grand castles, rolling countryside with lovely little stone walls, or lovely little stone cottages. That's the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
That is what the Cotswolds looks like, and not really many other places in the country, because the rest of it, it's hard to explain, but I think, like I said earlier, it's such an old country that you'll have like a really lovely, charming, pretty little stone cottage, and right next to it you'll have a big tower of like council flats, so for like government housing, basically.
Yeah, and I think the thing with that is that we've always been a very classist country, just like, you really separated wealthy from peasants, and now so much land is protected. So where you had a castle or whatever it was, now it's like, oh, we have to preserve that castle and you can't build around it. So now we have just huge areas that aren't built on. We have these little villages, and then so you do have the places that are built on, they're so cramped and built up because of all the restrictions.
And they're run down because they're so built up, and you get
like London now, London's just building up rather than out.
Well, I think it is still building out too.
Which was something else, actually, I did notice when we went, because obviously you coming from the West Coast.
There's a lot of space.
There's a lot of space, but it's just like, when we went to LA, and I just been thinking, wow, there's no underground system here. There's no, like London, we get around underground, you get the bus. It did hit me that why so many people drive there, so you kind of have to
but
drive.
they also cater to it. I mean, I know like some cities.
Yeah, they know, they do.
Like there's a lot of free parking, and not everywhere, like downtown areas of any city, you're not going to find that. But
that's something I really like in America. Is here, if you want to go out anywhere, it's always like, where are we going to park?
I know, it's a nightmare.
Not just the space, but like you go to shops and there won't be anywhere to park. Because not every shop's going to have its own area to park in.
Yeah, because there's just a real space issue.
Pretty much everyone in the States is like, yeah, let's go to a massive car parking area. For free, yeah.
But there's no time restrictions on it.
Yeah, here we really try and push people to public transport, which is fine, but it's shit. So it's a tough one.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically, like, if you want to see charming, pretty, Downton Abbey type England, go to the Cotswolds and the Lake District, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, go rural. London
also a little bit, but even London, like, you have some beautiful medieval buildings, you have some beautiful, like, Georgian and, a lot of older stuff. But the next to you have this really weird, like, mid-century modern building, because a lot of it was damaged during the war.
And you also have to be careful.
With the Nazis.
You have to know where you're going in London, because, you don't want to stumble into the wrong part of it.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not talking about that's not really my...
No, but I just mean that, the perception of London as this wonderful, charming...
It is, but there are parts of it that aren't...
In places, yeah, in places.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of our list. I'm sure we could go on forever if we could think of enough.
And we do have lists of nice things about each other's countries, too. We don't hate the country.
The words being different isn't bad. Like, that's just funny to me. And the accents, like, that's kind of cool.
We haven't even touched on Cockney rhyming slang.
Yeah, that is amusing, but I thought that could be its own episode maybe one day.
Or people can just Google it.
Yeah, Cockney rhyming slang is fun and confusing. So, that's it for today, boys and girls. Make sure to subscribe. I think we announced recently, episodes are always going to be on Sundays. So keep an eye out for that. If you are subscribed, you will get an email notification as soon as an episode goes live every Sunday.
But you can also subscribe on your favourite listening platform. I know we've got Spotify subscribers and however people listen.
Apple.
But we have an email subscription that we'll send out when we get new blog posts and we get new podcast episodes and maybe little bonus content. So just visit our website and pop your email address in there.
Ooh. Bonus content.
Bonus content.
That sounds sexy.
Maybe it will be sexy.
Ew.
If you want it to be sexy, let us know.
We could go to jail for that.
Yeah. What should we do? Like free love things?
Free love things. I don't know. This is going down a dark route.
I think we've been watching too much Big Mouth.
I think we have. And the coffee's made me a bit weird.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
Thanks, guys. Was there anything else?
Not from me.
Oh, there was something else we needed to say.
Like what?
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.